Without progress, everything would suddenly stop and stand still in a society. For the past 25 years, the UN has been an essential partner for the development of the Republic of Moldova. Important reforms have received strong support, changing Moldova for the better. Today's cooperation with the UN focuses on three main areas. The UN has supported the EU visa liberalization and the wider EU-Moldova association process. Also, key steps were taken to curb corruption. The electoral system has been strengthened and an electronic voter register put in place. A series of anti-corruption and anti-discrimination laws, as well as harsher sanctions for the bribery of judges, were adopted. The UN's innovative, people-centered approach has helped combat torture and build bridges between the police and community. Police have been trained to assist and refer drug users and people with HIV and tuberculosis to the relevant social and medical services. The UN has addressed Moldova's challenges in gender equality in politics as well as in the wider society. For the first time ever, 2 Romani women were elected to local councils in 2015. Thanks to the new equality law, Moldovans can now report cases of discrimination to the Equality Council. To acknowledge Moldova's ethnic diversity, the UN supported the translation of the country's constitution in minority languages. The UN has supported Moldova to build a sound legal and administrative framework to protect persons fleeing wars and persecution. Following the ratification of the UN Statelessness Conventions in 2012, over 210,000 individuals have been prevented from becoming stateless. Through its support to the civil society, the UN has empowered new organizations and associations advocating for the rights of people with physical and mental disabilities. The media's capacity to respect ethical standards in their work and to monitor and report on human rights in the news coverage has been strengthened. Furthermore, the UN has been working across several sectors to reduce poverty, improve public services, and strengthen social inclusion. Communities from both banks of the NISTRU River were supported by the UN with EU funding. Nationwide career advisory centers have supported startups and contributed to job creation. New vaccines were introduced to protect children from a growing number of severe diseases. Major risk factors for public health were addressed. A ban was imposed on smoking in public places and reduced legal blood alcohol content. Young men and women now have better access to health education and services, including sexual and reproductive health, thus preventing STIs, HIV/AIDS, and risky behaviors. The UN has provided continuous support in the improvement of the quality of cervical cancer prevention services for women, including cervical cancer screenings. The UN has supported better health services in prison for inmates. People who use drugs have access to better social and medical services. The UN strengthened Moldova's educational system by training school managers and staff and improving school conditions to make them more inclusive for children with disabilities. More children are benefiting from preschool education due to innovation and mentoring. Moldovans working abroad have improved social security rights. The UN has cooperated with national and local authorities, including social protection, police, and healthcare professionals. In the last 5 years, victims of violence, abuse, and trafficking received direct assistance and protection within UN support. The UN has supported Moldova in the sustainable management of environment and natural resources and the promotion of green energy. The UN has helped Moldova develop a policy and legal framework supporting conservation of biodiversity. Obsolete pesticides were eliminated and Moldova's first national park was established. The UN has helped Moldova establish a management mechanism for plant protection. Financial resources from the EU were mobilized to increase Moldova's energy independence and decrease heating costs. Biomass heating systems and pellet-fired boilers were installed in municipal institutions and households. The UN supported the installation of a dual polarization Doppler radar system for accurate weather forecasts. Moldova has signed the Paris Agreement on climate change and has committed to reduce greenhouse gas emissions across all sectors. These 25 years of partnership have been marked by important achievements, as well as formidable challenges on the path towards building a democratic and modern state. Joint work has spanned from advancing democracy, electoral support, poverty reduction, empowering women, health, and education services, to addressing the consequences of natural disasters, building confidence between the 2 banks of the NISTRU River, as well as promoting justice and human rights for everyone in Moldova.